Oh, it said recorded this time. Can you hear me?
Yes.
There we go.
Thank you.
No problem. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, crazy busy. We're watching the global currency reset. There's a lot of movement going on, especially stuff that people are unaware of, but it's crazy. There's something happening. I can't put my finger on it, but it does involve global currency resets. It does involve what's going on in the gold and silver market. It's just crazy to watch. There's a lot of things happening at one time, and they seem to be overlapping, which, again, when you see, I talk about multiple different subjects, and these subjects are all separate from one another. But when all of a sudden they start intersecting for one reason or another, that's when you go, whoa, something big is happening. This era, global currency reset, gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, foreign currency investments, all overlapping right now.
Yes.
Very, very interesting.
So I'm recording this. This is my favorite person, everyone, lately on YouTube. Pimpy is the best. Let's face it. Okay.
Thank you.
Multi-layer knowledge, not just money. Pimpy, thank you so much. God bless you. This is the third time we're trying this.
It's okay, no problem.
Okay, so we will end this with what I texted you yesterday, because this is what you're talking about. There's so much information right now. It's actually from last night that, everything you were saying about investing in precious metals, this is the way to go. And I would like to start because, in my opinion, I have to first of all give you a credit. You are already changing my life. And I tell you why. I never really was into investing. I think what it was for me, Pimpy, it was too complicated. The vocabulary that was used for how to operate with money, all the terminology was too much mumbo jumbo for me. And I was just, working and making some nice money and spending that money and traveling or whatever, buying stuff. But I tell you, all of this COVID situation and lockdowns, and then coming across your channel and really learning from you how easy it is to buy a silver coin, for example. This is no, brain surgery. So I want to thank you for this, because you already changed my perspective about it, and my, it empowers people. It really does.
Yes. Yeah, it does. And I appreciate that. See, that's the thing I want people to get out of my channel. I get that there's all these people, they talk with charts and all this kind of stuff. And me, I like to watch it and go, okay, what's the simplest way to put this so that we can all be in the same boat? You hear me say this all the time. And so what I do is I turn around and just share this information. But what I also do a lot of times, you'll see me when they're talking, if I go, I think I should pause this and explain this in more detail so people get it. And you'll see me, I'll stop videos and explain so that everybody's on the same page, because it's that important. Where we are right now in history is an unbelievable time.
So if you hear the noise, first of all, I apologize. They are like trimming the tree outside. No problem.
No problem.
So
I just had my tree cut down, so it's all good.
All good. Trees are important.
Yeah, they are, because I use it for firewood.
Yes, and for the oxygen.
Yes.
That we still need. So,
well, I tell you what, they're getting a lot of food with all these fires here in California. The smoke is everywhere.
Are you safe where you are? Are you safe?
Oh yeah, we're now, a couple 3 years ago, we had what's called a rim fire. It was huge, like 300,000 acres. It was scary because when you drive up to it, even from quarter-mile away, you could feel how intense the heat is. And it was scary to see how raging and how huge these flames are. And all I could think about was how much more I respect firefighters. Now, my dad was a volunteer firefighter. When we used to get called, I used to go with him. Yeah, he would pull the truck up right next to the dang fire and then go fight. And he'd tell me, look, if the fire gets too close, just back the truck out. Well, I was already thinking we were too close because it's real intimidating. And I can only imagine that, when these trees get moistures in them and then they get dry on the outside but still moist on the inside, when they catch on fire, they make these huge explosion sounds like hand grenades. Real intimidating, man. It's so scary. But yeah, I admire and respect those men and women who put their lives on the line, because it's not easy. It's really scary to see.
So Pimpy, do we still have time to invest in gold and silver? This is my first question. And if you can say, in your opinion, what is the best choice, gold or silver, and if coins or bars?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the thing. Nobody knows when this is going to happen. It's easy to speculate because we got some things in which we can gauge off of. So here's my thing. I want to tell people before, don't worry about it. Just do it when you can. So now let's just step it up a little bit. You should have a little bit of a sense of an urgency because we really do believe whatever's going to happen is going to happen in this year.
Yes.
All right. So there's time, but I think whatever's going to happen might happen in October, but there's reasons for that. But again, I want people to have a little bit now sense of urgency. Okay, so gold or silver, it really just depends on how much money you have, whether you can afford to do both. If you have enough money to do both, then you want 80% silver, 20% gold. But most of the people that are my subscribers cannot do that. So this is what I say, that's okay anyways. It's better for you to be in silver. Silver always outperforms gold. So when it comes to the coins or the bars, so you want more bang for your buck, so to speak. So get the bars. They don't have as high premiums as the coins do. Now, why the coins have more of a premium is because it doesn't just have the metal value. It also has a collectible value to it for coin collectors. You know, while all the bars are starting to get really fancy and they're starting to become a niche for them, but just start with just what I do is when I go to these websites, I just sort by cheapest and grab the cheapest ones. Because all I want to do right now is stack. I don't care about the fanciness of the bars. I just want a plain and as cheap as possible.
May I ask because I know you told me this before, but I was not able to learn how to record. I know, I'm evolving. So at the end of the day, what really matters, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is how much silver it has. So if it's like 0.999999, this is what people should look at, correct?
Yeah, it's called the purity, okay? So when it comes to rounds and bars, by law, they got to stamp them on. They have to stamp the weight, which is 1 ounce, 5 ounce, 10 ounce, whatever, and the purity. It's usually 0.999, but there are other ones that are 0.49s, 0.59s. What that means is it has even more silver in it, is what that means. So, of course, the more pure the silver, the more you're going to pay slightly a little bit more in premiums just because it needs less refining, and that's what industrial people would be looking at, but you're fine with just 3 nines.
So Pimpy, if someone buys, let's say, I forgot the name, like in UK or in Australia, like koala, or if they buy in Canadian money, that really doesn't matter because they can still take this coin, let's say 1 ounce of silver, and they can trade it in whatever other country. It doesn't really, it means the value of the metal, correct?
Yeah, well, everybody, so some coins, if you're going to do the coins, some coins have a lot more recognition and are easier to sell than others. So the American Eagle coins are they're recognized around the world. Nobody has no problem with them. They'll buy them. But the second most recognized, of course, are the Canadian maple leaves. So they are very popular as well. Actually, they're pretty sturdy coins.
Those two top, you say.
American Eagles and Canadian. Now, see, here's the funny thing. Like when I go to Money Metals, I can get more Canadian coins cheaper than I can the American Eagles because the American Eagles are more popular. So it's like shopping for name brands, but for coins is what it is. You're actually paying for the recognition of the coin, and that's why the premiums are higher. So, you know, you want to try to get away from that. We're just trying to stack. So you could buy rounds or bars is what it is, okay?
So now,
and avoid the coins.
Sorry, if you take the Canadian coin to United Kingdom, it's still okay because you can get the value.
It's silver. Yep.
Right.
Everybody knows what they are.
Okay.
You can do it anywhere in the world. So, anywhere in the world that uses silver.
I want to say, because you just mentioned, and this is, I buy from the same place because of you. If anyone goes, and I will put this website below, the Money Metals Exchange, and they mention Pimpy code in the promo, they will get 1/2 ounce of silver for free. Like, hello.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, and great service they have. I recommend them too. The really amazing people. It's family-owned business, so they have
Yes.
this soul connection to the client, and I love it because they really genuinely care about people. Really do.
They do, and that's what I tell you. All of my subscribers that buy from them have nothing but good things to say. I think the worst thing that anybody said is, it just took too long to deliver, but they already tell you on the website that deliveries are a little delayed. Now, and just to kind of give them kudos, when these other sites were sold out and there was a huge back order, Money Middle still had silver available to the public. So that's the one thing I love. Is
I actually talked to them like a while ago and to the customer service, and this lady said, and I mentioned you. And she said, "Oh my God, I want to meet Pimpy." I said, "For sure. I mean, how many people he sends to you guys?" Like, she was like, "I want to meet Pimpy." I was like, "Oh my God." So
no, it's funny because I remember when I first started talking to them, and I believe it was with Matthew over there. And I said, "Look, here's my thing. My big thing is just, you guys have to be able to take care of my subscribers. I'm not worried about nothing else or anything else.
Yeah.
You know, do you guys have the supply?" And he just chuckled a little bit. And he's like, "Yeah, we got it." I said, "No, seriously." He goes, so at the time, he said, "Well, how many subscribers do you got?" I said, "Well, about 30,000. And he goes, "Yeah, we have YouTube channels that we work with that got way more than you do. We can handle it." And I said, "You sure?" He said, "Test us." 10 days later, he's like, "Okay, wait a minute. We really drastically underestimated your subscribers." He said it put a lot of stress on their inventory and they were not ready for this. And still to this day, we have a huge wave of my subscribers going over to buy from them. I cannot, they are unbelievable people and I'm very happy to be working with them.
And now you have like 55,000.
55,000, yes.
Good
yes.
number, good number. Good number.
Yeah.
So, so this was the place in United States. Now, if anyone wants to buy like in other countries, Pimpy on his Pimpy investment chat, he has the links below to United Kingdom, I think, Ireland, I believe Australia, to a few other countries that people can click and see where they can buy the precious metals from. So
absolutely.
Yes, like I'm prepared. Okay.
I love it.
So, okay, actually on this note, tell me, because you have really legit insiders that you got really great information from. A lot of wealthy people and not just US, but like worldwide. We're talking like the royal families in Middle East. They are already starting to put their assets, cash, into precious metals. What will this will create a shortage? And when do you think, because if this is in September, do you think, well, my question really is this, Pimpy. All right, let's say, I'm not sure if they're going to announce in October. I have a feeling too, because there's a lot of signs that are showing that there is like this October surprise coming, etc. So maybe that will be announced, maybe not. Regardless, do you think that it might be the case that very soon, within the next few months, there might not be enough silver or gold to purchase from like average people?
Okay, so in July, remember this past July, gold silver.
Can you repeat this? Because you froze. You froze. Sorry.
Yeah, I was saying, so if people remember in July, there was a rush on gold and silver when it just kept going up, and people all of a sudden noticed this, so they rushed over to buy. And what happened? It caused a shortage. There wasn't enough to supply people, so people were in back orders. There was long delays in orders because of this, and that was before we saw a rush to precious metals. Now, what we're seeing is hedge funds, pension funds, banks, you know what I mean?
You're saying so it was nothing. It was nothing in comparison to what's coming.
Oh yeah. So there is a stress on the comics where everybody buys these orders from. It's already being stressed to the point where they had 46 dealers that they had dealt with, that they trusted. They have more than double that now, including, which makes me nervous, 30 new dealers that they have dealt with. So buying precious metals from China, who has a reputation for
Yeah.
selling fakes. So they've now expanded to from 46 to like over 149 sites now. That should tell everybody what they need to know. And that is the COMEX have sold more contracts than they actually have of precious metals, which is bad. They sold people's inventories and are trying to figure out how to fix this. But once these, what we call whales, royal families, start moving into position on precious metals, so they do both stocks as well as physical gold and silver. And we're seeing these hedge funds increase. They tell you keep about 5% of your portfolio, but that's not the case. They're now holding 15 to 20% in actual physical gold and silver, which is unbelievable. So people thought they were stressed before. No, I mean, you're going to probably see between now and the end of the year, huge jumps, huge demands in precious metals, and there's no way to supply everything everybody needs. That means if you're holding on to precious metals, well, you're in a great position because you get to watch the value really shift as the demand increases, but the supply is lower.
So this might be really pretty much the final countdown right now for many, many people.
Yeah, and so people are like, well, Pimpy, once this thing increases in price and everybody's selling theirs, who's going to buy it? No, they will. The rich people, they don't care about how much it costs. That to them is a safe haven, and they will do this. We know we're probably looking at about a 10-year run of constant, ups and downs, but it's going to continue to increase. I think we're going to see some pretty big increases here shortly. But again, there's always somebody to buy it. And keep in mind, not everybody's going to sell at the same time. You're going to see people buy and sell throughout the time. So yeah, they'll have somebody who will buy it. I don't care, even if silver jumped up to $5,000 an ounce, I guarantee somebody will buy it. But there's more of a need for silver than there is gold. And so I'm anticipating silver eventually passing gold in value, only because it has more industrial uses. Silver is second to oil when it comes to industrial uses.
Right.
And so as people get away from oil and start looking for alternative energy, most anything used alternative energy has silver in it.
So Pimpy, can I ask you, so tell me your opinion about this. It's really like we are now just having assumptions of what might happen. We are not, we don't have the, what is the word? I forgot how they use this, the operation looking glass, right? We don't have it, so we cannot like go there and like, oh, okay. But we have very strong intuitions, all of us, just not everyone practices. So I want to ask you, do you feel like this will be the scenario as such? They will announce the value, true value of the precious metals, for example, and they will say that the true value is very close to the value that the clock, the US debt.org clock is showing. So at this moment today, 1 ounce of silver is $4,086. You have the board so you see it, right? Yeah. So for example, what does it mean, Pimpy, if they say that we are going back to gold standard and this is the true value? Does it mean that in the very moment when they say it, that 1 ounce of silver that we have in our position is worth as they say?
So what happens is this. So the reason why everybody refers to the US debt clock, because it's just my opinion, but it's also experts everywhere feel that that's actually closest to the true value of both gold and silver. But we also know that the prices have been manipulated by people for a long time, and eventually that has to stop. Once that stops, it's going to take off like a rocket. Again, that's based on our money supply that's out there as well as our debt. So
within 1 day, right? Pimpy, we don't have to wait for this like to click in. When they say it is what it is, it is.
Well, there's so it can happen one of two ways. And so I've been trying to figure out, in my opinion, what is most likely the correct scenario. So an announcement of us going into the gold standard, they would have to then announce right then and there what the value of gold is. Well, you can imagine if it matches the debt clock, it's going to take a matter of seconds for silver to catch gold is what's going to happen, because they usually run side by side. So that announcement goes hand in hand. But There's also a scenario in which they say, okay, what we could do is revalue gold and silver and not necessarily announce we're going into the gold standard, but at least revalue because we know it's not at its true value. So Trump would have a right to say, look, I'm not happy what's happening. We need to do this in increments. So you could see silver jump up to about $300 an ounce, gold up to about $5,000, $6,000 an ounce. It stayed there for a few months and then they raise it again.
Okay.
So that's why I said we're in a really, really unique time in history right now.
Okay. So, you know, yesterday I was listening to someone who actually works in the finances in this new system, Paladin, his name, on Whitehead's Media Group on YouTube. And this is legit source who is involved in process of this transition right now. And he stated a lot of things. I trust him very much because this is not like the third party, second party. Yeah. This is right there. Like he's there. So he was talking about crypto. And I just want to say it because I know some people will be watching and they will be like, the new quantum financial system, and it's like blockchain and XRP, all of this. I have zero interest in crypto personally. It's not for me. Yeah. I believe when I can hold it in my hand, and is going to be, new system is going to be backed by gold. So that's how my focus and my heart goes there. And he actually mentioned, right? He mentioned yesterday that this new system, I have this here because I was literally like taking notes from this. And he said that this new quantum financial system will wipe out all the old cryptocurrencies that existed prior to this. So this means all these Bitcoins and everything, which you say this very often, that you cannot really trust those cryptocurrencies because those can be also manipulated. And the new system is something that will be tracking if the money is coming from the good sources, not from dealing drugs or human trafficking.
No nefarious things,
Right. So here is the thing. He said that none of this, what people were like so obsessed with, might not be the investment really. It really is in precious metals. So I've asked him the question on this live chat. Now it's already on the YouTube. I asked him when the silver and gold value, true value, will be announced. And he answered. I was like, yeah. And he said, whoever has some gold and silver will definitely be a happy person. This to me, it's clear.
I think, you know, I said, I'm going to brag a little bit because on my YouTube channel now, I've been pushing this for months. And I said, my subscribers are way ahead of the curve. We are way ahead of the curve. You know what I mean? So I'm very happy about that because I do know what's coming up will change the lives of people's lives. And so that could be, to me, is the greatest reward. It really is. And I know this. And even I tell this story all the time about people who are saying, oh, the rich get rich and the poor always get stuck. We'll never have blah, blah. And I said, you can't make no excuses. And now those same people who were complaining now have found a way and they are now stacking. I told everybody this story about Monica and her kids. Now they're up to, I think she said the other day, 34 ounces. Now it's not a lot, but the thing is, she said, wow, I did not realize how this was a huge opportunity to teach the kids something, you know, saving, investing, going out and working to earn these. Because the coins, they love the coins. And I said, oh, we all do. Even I do. I have a ton of them. So every time I get them in the mail, I get all giddy and stuff. You know, I'm doing my little pee-pee dance just because I love to look at them. I really do. Now I have gold coins. And the funny thing is, I don't like them as much as I like my silver coins. But the kids love them. When they come in the mail, they're jumping up and down. She says, you got to do your homework first. And they rush now to do their homework so they could go out and click cans, get money, go buy their coins. When the coins come in the mail, she uses all these opportunities to really teach your kids and work with kids, which is a phenomenal thing to do.
Yes.
Again, I tell people, you can't sit around making excuses. You have to find a way.
Yes.
You know, and I said something about maybe get a job. Some people are offended by it, but one of these ladies said, you know what? I said to myself, I'm just going to get a part job. I got to do something. She was one of the ones that said, oh, the rich always get rich and screwed. So I told, again, on my videos, I told her story. So she went and she got her second job. She said at first she was tired.
Yeah.
But when she got her first check, yeah, it's exhausting. She said, but when she got her first check from her second job, she knew that all of that could go to precious metals.
Right.
In her order. And when the metals came in through the mail, same thing. She got excited. She said, oh, she's used to this.
Oh. You back? Back? Pimpy, I lost you. I lost you for a moment. You back?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you went to a different dimension.
Can you now?
I don't see you.
Oh, it disappeared. But anyways, what happened was she said she's to the point now where her first job pays all her bills and stuff. And she says it's not even exciting for her no more. She's like just trying to hurry up and get out of that job. And then she rushes and she looks forward to making as much money as possible on her second, because she says that's all her precious metals. Because, and now she has a really nice stack. Yeah, she found a way. Exactly.
Pimpy, oh, you back. Yeah, you went to a different time zone. That's fine. You were checking. So, you know what I think it is?
I'm flying back and forth in my looking glass.
Yeah,
no.
That time travel. Oh, you're back again. You're gone again. Okay, where did you go? Here you are. Wow. Time traveler. Okay, I don't see you. I don't see you.
Our meeting.
I think it's the internet connection.
You can see me? I'm right here. I can see you.
Now I see you and I hear you, and I hope we can stay for a few more minutes like this. So,
go ahead.
I think because you're very connected to higher self, that's why you can instinctively feel the joy about silver, because that's what's gonna win. Mm-hmm. So tell me this.
I think so.
This whole XRP thing, I'm not even going into the conversation because I don't give more energy to this. I just feel that we have to make things simple, as you're saying. And a lot of people are not as savvy in this. And even those who are in this crypto world, they argue among one another this way or that way.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Like, let's focus, let's break it down. And if he said it yesterday, I trust him. And he said something like this, that crypto has to be backed by the hard asset. And gold is the hard, gold, silver, precious metals are the hard asset. So it cannot be something like, anyway.
Well, you see, they just moved the gold, I think it is, to tier 3 asset, which is sitting there by itself now, which is now considered the most reliable asset of assets. So that was just announced, but I think there's a reason for that. Because they have plans to do something with gold.
Can I say,
gold. I think.
Can I say, Pimpy? Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm so excited. Can I say? So you know what he said yesterday, and I think what you're saying is actually in regard of this. He said that this team of people he's working with, he knows that they are traveling now around the world, and they are backing the foreign currencies with gold, so it will be even. And this is when you talk on your channel about people want to know, and I bought some because of you. Thank you again. Thank you. I bought Vietnamese donk and some funny money from Zimbabwe. So all of this, I know I'm not even, the donk is the donk. The donk I understand, the other thing I don't. But what the
Reiki Denargio, the big one. That one looks like it's going to happen here. As a matter of fact, I just released a video today saying that they talked about it.
And they are backing up those currencies with gold. So this is really, like you're saying, this is going to happen. No one knows when. It's just.
Well, here's something to think about. I want you to think about it. If your friend is going around and they're lining up what they need to know about gold versus their currency, that means then they must already at least have an idea what the rate is. How do you know how to make the proper adjustments? So they know something's coming. They have to know what the rate's going to be. So, again, I'm sure like a lot of my people, they know stuff, but they won't tell me because, you get in big trouble for that. And trust me, when I tell you, everybody hears what you're saying on the phone. So I ask them bold questions sometimes. They go, really? You know better. And I go, well, I mean, you never know. Maybe you'll tell me. So I said, should we be paying attention to Trump's hints about gold and silver. And then I told him, he goes, yeah, if I was you, I'd pay close attention to those.
Then you know everything.
It's coming. There's definitely something
That's
coming.
it. It's coming. And
Yeah.
so I want to say, because not many people know, that Pimpy was one of those blessed ones. I think this is karma. When you do good, good comes back. So Pimpy's student loan was cleaned. It was paid off. It disappeared. So again, Nesara Jasara, however, they might not even call it this. That's what he said, that it might not even be announced as a terminology. This might be rolled out like your debt was paid off. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it was. And I did a video because I showed people. I said, look, dude, I'm not going to just tell you this. I'm going to show you. And I went, I logged on, I showed them my credit report and showed that it was gone. But I also called my creditor to make sure. Just because it's off your credit report, I tell people, don't get overly excited. You need to call your creditor and find out. Now, something weird happened. I got something in my mail yesterday about my mortgage. I actually got my deed to my house. And you don't get that till after it's paid off. So I was like, what the hell is this? Why are they giving me my deed? So again, I don't want to get overly excited and think that the mortgage was paid off too. But I had the deed. I reached out to the mortgage people for them to call me back because I want to find out why my deed. I now have the deed to my house. How did this happen? And what does that mean? So if there's anything exciting to share with people.
To me, what is this really, this word that you use? What is it? Because I'm from Poland, so I don't understand this. What is it?
So whenever you own your house outright, you get the deed to it. It's a piece of paper that says you own your property.
Okay.
But when you're paying off the loan for your house, it's held in escrow, the deed.
Mm-hmm.
So they hold, once you pay it off, then you get the deed back. Now you own it outright. There's no loans, no debt.
No, but you get it when you paid off to zero, right?
Yes, yes. And so it came in the mail, and I don't know why. So I don't want to get overly excited, but I need to find out what the hell happened. But if that's the case, I'll bring all my proof and prove to people that it's happening. But it's not just me. There's people around the world. I just did one on Nesara Jasara talking about school debt. You see in Nova Scotia, they just debt forgiveness for, the students there, all the students. It wasn't a lot. It was like $8 million. But the point being, I told people, even if Nesara Jasara is a hoax, like some people think, it doesn't matter anymore. It's now a movement, but it's so big now that it has to be addressed.
Yes.
And so you're seeing this happen. And although they might not officially call it Nesara Jasara,
yes, exactly.
I made videos proving that not only is this possible, but it's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you are the real living example. And this is good karma, Pimpy, I swear.
No, I appreciate that.
No, it is, because you're really changing. And I am so grateful and blessed to talk to you. But how many people who are actually watching your videos and they don't even subscribe to your YouTube channel, they are actually following your advice. And that
you'd be surprised. I mean, I have some people with very large amounts of money and they're making moves. And I'm like, we talk all the time. And when I find out, like, well, so I just picked up $2 million worth of precious metals. I was like, wow. Yikes, man, must be nice. But the point is, it's for everybody. It's for everybody.
But I am not in the position like those people, but I think that God will give us the blessing and abundance in many different ways.
Yes.
And that is one of those ways is this. But then many doors along the way might open that maybe we don't have 1,000 ounces in our hand or more, but eventually we might even be ahead of many other people, because what we will be doing in the world will bring the fulfillment and will bring the prosperity and joy and friendships and all those aspects that you cannot really put price on those things. You just can't.
Well, here's my thing. You know what? It isn't going to take very much silver in ounces. So you might not get enough to where you're rich, but you might get enough to where you can pay off your house, buy a house, pay off your car, buy a car, travel. So it still will make a lot of people very happy, in my opinion. You can only imagine the kids that I was talking about, the 34 ounces. You can only imagine how excited they're going to be if indeed an announcement's made and we find out that silver jumps up to $4,000 an ounce and they have 34 of them. You know what I mean? It's life change. That's college for them. You know what I mean? Or, that pays off their house. So mom don't have to stress because she is a single mother. This is what I'm talking about. Still life changing. You don't need a whole lot. Of course, you want to do everything you can to try to get as much as you can. And I told people, look, you'd be surprised. Have yard sales. Go around your house. There's things in there that have some type of value to them that you're thinking to yourself, do I really need this right now? And I told people, look, I had a treadmill in my house. I said it was the greatest place to go hang up clothes to dry on, but I never used it. So I sold it and I took that money and put it right back into precious metals. There's a lot of you out there that got that exercise equipment. You know damn right what I'm talking about. You don't use it. So you know what? You can get it later, but for now, sell it, get your silver, then go buy one later on, and then dry your clothes on it again. So.
But another thing is like people are waiting for the stimulus check, right?
Yeah.
And so many people just like blow it. Just blow it. And but I think what it is, more and more people have awareness, but those who really grasp the importance of this moment, they will be like, oh my God, I can't, like I have to do this because this truly is one in a lifetime, one in many, many lifetimes, really.
I think so.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I want to touch on this, Pimpy, because I am aware of the humanitarian project that you will be doing, and it's so beautiful. So when this whole staging is happening, and another thing, before I ask you this, do you think how you feel? Because I asked Charlie Ward this question. Do you think they're gonna recompensate people, like with the taxes and other things, like the lost homes? Do you think?
Yeah, so a lot of people are talking about, just getting this prosperity check, where they give you money. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So my thought process is on this. There's nothing out there that I saw that would indicate that, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But if you take in consideration all the debt that has to be paid off, you know what I mean? There's going to be people that are going to be just more than happy if that's what happens, and we get to start all over from square one with no debt. They'll still be happy with that. But as far as a prosperity check, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible, but me personally, I just have not found anything out there that says that. Now, you want to hear something funny? Because people were asking me, Charlie was talking about these dragon bonds.
Yeah, oh, great. That was my next question. Perfect, There we go.
So Charlie was talking about, people are like, Pimpy, they said in my comments, they go, Charlie said these dragon bonds and they got $100 trillion or $100 billion, and that's going to pay everybody's debt and blah, blah, blah. I said, I have not found no proof that the dragon bonds exist. I only know about the old railroad bonds. That's it. So anyways, I said, until I can find some proof of it, there's nothing to talk about. Well, lo and behold, a friend of mine, he knows about the bonds, and he owns his own Swiss bank. And he said, yeah, I got to make a correction.
Good friend.
He goes,
Great
I did a video today. Yeah, he said, so you're kind of wrong on the bonds. I said, are you serious? There's Chinese dragon bonds out there? He goes, well, they're not called dragon bonds. They're historical bonds. And I said, what about them? He says, they've been for the last several weeks. They have been processing these bonds, but only for those people who are connected. And I said, are you all that, man? I said, I had no proof of this. He goes, I'm telling you, they're doing it in Switzerland. He says, I could tell. He owns his own bank there, so he's telling me. He says, so they're not called dragon bonds specifically. He says, but these Chinese historical bonds, which I have a feeling are the railroad bonds. He says they are absolutely being processed right now.
Can I ask you before I forget? So after I talked to you last time, and I listened to other people about this topic, I went on eBay and I wanted to see what they are selling. Okay, so and then I went on other channels to listen. So please tell me, Pimpy, there is a bond which is like a railway Chinese bond, something from like 1911.
Yeah, 1912, 1911, 1913. There's those old rail bonds. See, here's the thing. So whenever the government switch over in China, what used to happen is, the government would carry the debt over from the previous government. Well, when communist China took over, they said, we're not doing that. We're just not going to honor that. So they defaulted on the debt. We didn't ever say the debt was gone. We just never pressed them for it. So now we got China saying, well, you know what? If Trump keeps acting the way he does, we'll just dump his debt bonds on the market and crash your economy. Trump's like, go ahead. You have 1.1 trillion of our bonds, but we have 1.6 trillion of your bonds. So again, everybody's like, well, wait a minute. This means now what? Are these bonds in play? I said, it sure the heck sounds like it. So, but that doesn't mean, so people say, should I go buy them off of the eBay? I said, man, again, just like anything else, there's a risk. From what we're hearing right now, I know that some of these bonds are being processed, all right? Will the people in the general public be eligible? I don't see how they could do it privately and not do it for the public. So it's funny how they're selling them as historical documentation on eBay, and then come to find out you can actually redeem them suckers after all. One is for silver and the other one's for gold. I was thinking, God, that's funny. So we'll see. I can tell you that Charlie's right. So they have been processing in Switzerland for some weeks now, but they're not. It's only for people who are connected. And they actually are the Chinese historical bonds. They're not specifically called dragon bonds.
So Pimpy, if someone goes on eBay now and they buy, I checked the prices recently for the one that I just mentioned from 1911. They are around $300. Depends, they go up to like 1,000. Mm-hmm. Depending on the value of this bond. So if they buy this, let's say it's legit, what do you think might be the value of this? Like, how you feel it around? I know
with interest and everything else. Oh man, it's hard to say. So I just downloaded a video. I'm going to release it because I do go over what you should be looking for on those bonds in case you do want to buy one. So go watch it because you'll see some of those bonds that have been authenticated and they sell for like $2,200. Now, I'm not saying you should rush out and get those ones, but what makes those ones more desirable is that they have been officially authenticated, and there's things you need to look for on those bonds. One of them says you do get paid in gold. The other one says you get paid in silver. Obviously, the one that people should be looking for is the ones you say in gold.
When you're posting this video, is it today?
Yeah, it's already downloaded. I could release it right now if I wanted to.
Great. I'm going to watch it. Perfect.
Yeah, go check it out because I tell you what you need to look for so you don't. So there's ones that are out there that are not authenticated, but still doesn't mean they're not legit. So obviously the ones you want to try to eyeball, if you can get it for a couple of $100, are the ones that are for gold. But again, you have to watch what I say about it. You don't just want the certificate. There's these little pull out and you see these little tabs on these little paper tabs. They have to be attached because that's the part you redeem, not the certificate, the little tabs.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So if you don't have the tabs, you get nothing.
Wow, because I've noticed that there were some people who just had like one page.
Yep.
And then there is actually an entire website. There's a guy who is selling this. I think he's maybe from Germany, I'm not sure. And he has all those like coupons.
Yes, that's what they are, redeemable coupons. They have to have them on there because that's the one you exchange in for the money. So if you can find one that's with gold and it has a little, sorry about that.
You froze.
What happened?
But you're like froze there.
Oh, there we go. Somebody was trying to call as I was talking to you, so how rude of them. But anyways, nonetheless, you want to make sure to get the right bonds. I'll release the video and you can see what you should be looking for.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This is so important. Okay, so let me ask you the last question, combine, because this is my channel I started and is going to, I really want to make it professional, but this is the beginning. So I'm literally recording the interviews with people that I appreciate and I admire and I am grateful for that I found recently. And the channel will be focused on traveling the world and asking people how they see the world through their eyes. But before I ask you this, the world through your eyes, Pimpy, I would like to say that the humanitarian project that you are already involved in and you will expand on this soon is something really beautiful because you're gonna help homeless people to have not just a shelter, but dignity of life.
Yes.
So can you say it's a beautiful project? Like I want people to know that, it's not just about there is this guy who has this channel who talks about how to buy gold and silver, but there's a beautiful heart and soul of this person who actually wants to do a lot of goodness when this whole thing is over.
Yes. Well, I tell people, look, in any of these investments, whether it's the Iraqi dinar, Vietnam dong, if we are truly going to be blessed and you end up with a lot of money, I always tell people, man, there's a lot of you that were out there praying to God, saying, dear Lord, if you help me get this, I promise this is what I'm going to do. And I think you better keep your promise, you know what I mean? But not just that, people are like, well, we're being forced in humanitarian projects. I don't believe in that. I think people should want to do it on their own. I also realize that if I'm going to get that amount of money that I'm anticipating, then I know the money is, of course, I'll take care of the I need to do, but more than I know, to help other individuals, and that's exactly what I plan on doing with them.
You froze again. Thank you, Pimpy, so much. So tell me how you see the world through your eyes. Do you see the world after this, or you still see it as it's, how you see the world?
I actually was reflecting on this just the other day, because my thought is this: I'm so tired of what we see in the news, and I mean worldwide. I'm so fed up with it, because I know what the media is showing us and trying to portray us as is not true. There's a very, very, very tiny group of people, very tiny, that they are using to put on the news to try to make it look like the rest of us are this way. I have more faith in humanity.
Yeah.
I have more faith in God and his plan for us.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't trust what the media says. I know that the vast majority of us want to live peacefully amongst each other. We want to have our families, our communities. We just want to be left alone and left to do what we want. We should be able to love who we want to love, worship who we want to worship, walk where we want to walk, do whatever we want, as long as it does not infringe on the free will of other people. And you know what I mean? By all means, people should be able to do what they want to do without anybody trying to tell them what to do. And I think by and large, humanity in general is that way. And we're that small group of people that you see on the news is not anywhere near a true reflection of who we are.
I agree with you. And I think what it is, people think it's a fight for the soul. I see it more as a fight for our minds, because this is actually,
yes.
Our mind is so powerful that it can literally create anything, and they know it, and they taught us to forgive the very essence of who we are.
Yeah, I think that's been by design. It's been designed over hundreds of years. Who's they? Well, just evil people. They've gotten really good at removing who we truly are and telling us and conditioning us away from our true nature, which is to be a co-creator with God. So
all those technologies, when they will come out, and yesterday he also mentioned, Paladin, the Tesla one thing, but he also emphasized importance of securing that free energy, because if it gets into hands of those who wish harm, it can be really harmful. I mean, it's not originally designed as such, but it really depends who is controlling, how it's set up. So, he said that this whole system will be protected by the 24 satellites around the world who will be monitoring the Earth, how this quantum financial system is running, so preventing from any negative forces. Yeah, I think what it is, we are really on the very, very edge of the, it might be like we just wake up one day and we go to the bank and then you see a new treasury note, that it might be like this. And when you see this new treasury note, you will know that this is already backed by gold and we are already in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there will be some kind of official announcement, because you don't want to shock the hell out of people when they go to their bank account, but definitely that's going to be there. I heard a guy that giving a lecture one time. He said something that was awesome. Because the guy said, people ask him, in your opinion, as an inventor, what is your thinking process? He said, well, I'll tell you the most important things you should always think about before you create whatever you want to invent. One is, does it benefit everyone? Two, is it free? Three, can the government take advantage of it and use it against people as a weapon? If the first two is yes, or if any of these are, I think he said, if all three are yes, then don't invent it. He said the first two should be yes, but the last one is, if your government would use it as a weapon against its people, then don't invent it. So I thought, wow, that's really weird that he would say that, because that's what's happening. Is the government will take people's ideas, and what they try to do is, how can I use this to manipulate the people? How can I use this to control the people? They really do that, and that's what you don't want to see happen.
Yeah.
So if you're going to invent something, ask yourself that question. So if the government can't use it as a weapon, but you can give it to everyone and everybody benefits, and you can give it to them for free, then by all means, you should invent it.
Thank you so much, Pimpy. I really, really appreciate you. And I'm just thinking, like, what's going to happen to you when everyone is rich? You're going to travel the world and help people to have homes, I know. So thank you so much.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll be traveling too, but again, nobody's going to, I'll still be checking in, because there's other things to talk about. That's for sure.
And you know, it's
Appreciate you having
amazing.
me
I want to say to everyone
Okay.
who's watching this, it's amazing, because literally when I follow you and I listen to you, you are so, because you're constantly checking the updates. So people know where the gold is standing, where the silver is standing. So a lot of people, I have enough time, but a lot of people don't have time to, you know, investigate. So if they listen to you, if they watch you, they literally are very much on track with what's happening, and it's so important. And they know what to do with this. Like, that's what's so important. Like, when they have it, and I trust you will say, okay, now you can check the value of the foreign currencies, etc., etc. So
as it happens, I'll let you know. Like today, I did a video about the Iraqi dinar. They actually are talking about the rate, and the rate change needs to happen between now and the end of the year. So now we actually have a window. I was like, whoa, what is this? Because it has to be in the 2021 budget. So this is shocking that they actually put that out there. Of course, you know what's going to happen. They're going to see a mad rush on people on Iraqi dinars, what they're going to try to do. But they didn't give a rate. So that's the other thing. I said, be careful, people. Don't go crazy out there, because we still don't know what the rate's going to be. But
yeah, that's why I follow you, because if you say, this is the number you call, I will know this is the good number.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for giving me your time.
I will let everybody know.
Third time, and it happened.
No
I'm so happy.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Pimpy. Have a great day.
You too. I appreciate it. God bless.
Bye.